he was saying that we can check afterwards, so we can collaborate on YouTube channel, but just afterwards once he's there. Okay, this is live already. So now I'm gonna join the room here, which is this one. I like this music. Yeah, they show up here. So it's actually nice because it's the first time that I'm like with the guest,
Next
like
to?
in real life.
Yeah.
Fala, Gediel, boa noite. So we have here the chat, so we can see what they're saying. For example, what they're saying. So we have Gediel here. Gediel is always the first one.
So is the one that you were talking with?
No, it's the other one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So people start joining, and then
Uh-huh.
we can see then here, and then once we share the screen, just again go straight to the Figma or whatever we wanna open. So let's just wait. A message on WhatsApp as well, WhatsApp group. Estamos. Rames or Rames? Ramen.
Rames in the house.
Rames in the house. So the link. I love this light. Is
Really, we can talk about that type of lighting. And
the light here is kind of like coming from a certain angle that we kind of like flattening the like we do have the left hand side in shadow, but it's not that much, right?
no, it's not that much. It's mainly, well, it's not totally frontal, but it
Yeah,
covers
exactly.
a very
I think you are like you have the
more on the side, but it's more
Yeah.
like frontal to you.
yeah, because I'm like kind of facing that. He's like, today we need another. So Rames is actually Mexican, right?
I'm from Mexico, living now in Floripa.
Living. Oh, yeah, you actually live in here now.
Yeah.
I thought
kind
we were
of.
just traveling.
Oh.
I mean-
The start of my life here.
Oh,
The start of
right.
a living.
Oh, that's cool. I thought it was like traveling, staying here, staying there.
No, no.
Where's Spanish?
Ah.
I'm like, it's the Spanish for me. Is,
Vamos a hablar español ahora todos.
Sí, claro.
Vamos a hacer
Porque-
el taller en español.
Like, we just waited the people like you see they're joining here. Do you know that the meme that we do with Spanish?
Which one?
For example, we say cake. How do you say cake?
Pastel.
Pastel. So cake we say that in Spanish is vuelo. It's just vuelo. You just add this vue or like the ita
Yeah, it's
in
like
the very end.
in Spanish, when we think about Portuguese, we think everything it could be with iño.
Inho, exactly.
Iño.
So this is a copinho.
Copinho.
Yeah. But it's so similar.
Yeah, but there are
But it's
some
different.
things totally different. Like, for example, a dog,
Uh-huh.
we would say perriño, because in Spanish it's perro.
Yeah.
Perriño, but it's not at all in Portuguese.
No.
But the funny thing about dog is that cachorro exists, but it's a puppet. It's a puppy.
Ah.
It's
So
a
the
small
puppy
one.
is cachorro.
A puppy is a cachorro,
Uh-huh.
but a big one is not cachorro.
It's perro.
perro.
All right.
So it's funny because when I was learning about that, it was
This is so fun. We always pretend you just add ito, ita in Spanish, and then you guys Iño.
Iño, yeah.
Yeah.
So assistant didn't know that it was a Spanish and Portuguese
Yeah.
workshop.
Yeah. To be perro.
Pero is bat, perro is dog.
Oh, it's ro.
Perro.
Oh.
Perro como cigarro. Oh.
Yeah. But I think they
James.
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 James. They do. I think they do have it this in Italian as well. Pero.
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 Yeah. So guys,
God.
this is not a language time that we're doing. The artists here, they are always willing to improve their English and we actually can talk about this today. The industry is global, so once you speak English, you can read. Just to start, like they'll be joining from now. We are already live on YouTube. I think so. Yeah, we are presenting yourself. So you are Mexicano, Mexicano, and you was telling me like the way that we met. Actually, I'm staying here in Airbnb, and Ramos is staying next to me, and I was just here working, and then he was like
met.
passing by.
We
Like, oh,
met.
what are you doing?
Working with some editing program, and I was like, we started talking, and
Yeah.
we talked for hours.
Exactly. I think it was 3 or 4 hours first time, and I think it's so cool because we work in different fields, but we're so connected.
Well, I believe it's kind of the same industry. It's
Sí.
same field. It's a visual industry.
See.
So I'm a photographer, and you do it on the side of the digital work, which is part also of photography.
Mhm.
And it was very cool to talk with you because we have so many things in common. So we decided to do this meet to share about together, or they relate.
Yes.
So like
Exactly.
for people that already are here in this meeting. Do you want to start? Or?
Yeah. I think we could we can start already. Like the I mean as you're saying, when you I work for I work in fashion
Yeah.
somehow.
Let me talk about my career.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a photographer. I specialize in fashion photography. I specialize in fashion and beauty photography. With beauty photography, it's related to cosmetics and hair products campaigns. In fashion, also one of the best photographers, not just in Mexico but worldwide. So I've been traveling since I was 19.
Mm-hmm.
My first trip that I did was to Switzerland, and actually this is part of how I became a photographer, because when I was 19, for the first time me traveling to Europe, I was able to see the seasons in a different way that I was used to do it in Mexico, because in Mexico we don't get snow, or we just get it in the mountains, but we are not the leaves falling, and then you see winter, everything white, because, well, especially because I was living in Switzerland.
Mm-hmm.
So I was fascinated by seeing the different seasons, and at that time I had just a point and shoot camera, and I was like in the first month, but during the time that I was seeing the changes in the landscapes with the snow or the colors, I started putting more attention on that, and I wanted to capture those differences through photography.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of, that's how was my beginning in photography, like by observing countries. I was working between Mexico and New York for about 5 years, and I have worked for I have done productions in different countries. I was based, now I'm basing now in Floripa.
In Floripa.
My new base at the moment. So
That's cool.
it's very nice to be able to share my work
Mm-hmm.
with you, to be able to talk about photography, but not just photography as in the side of what you want to express.
Yes.
So we prepare some images from my portfolio to
Mhm.
share with you, so that we could talk about different lighting techniques and how these lighting techniques relate to the creation on CGI or other ways to create images digitally.
And
So-
how I think one thing that it's quite important is how we are talking about the same thing, like the fundamental, like on fashion, on hair, on like, because the fundamental is the same, right?
Yeah, light is the fundamental, and light we create images, and we create images with colors, with light, with shapes. Do it or now we do it. It's digital photography. It's a representation of something or a person real, which is would be the main difference.
Mm-hmm.
But after that shot is taken on the camera, you kind of work already in a digital world. And that image could be retouched or could be manipulated with Photoshop or different
Yes.
other tools. And also on the images, work and integrated those digital images, digital CGI images into the photography.
Yes. No, that's super cool.
Existing, if they have, they would like to say something just to start, something that they would be curious about to know, or just to say hi. I'm happy to be here for the first time with your community.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's a pleasure to be sharing my work and my experience.
No, thank you for accepting this talk, guys. If you have any question, if you have anything, just we can deal with that. That's fine.
Yeah, we can read it. I can read it in Portuguese. No
Yeah.
problem.
But it's good to see here we have a few people, and they usually like joining from now, and after that we have the live on YouTube as well, so people can watch afterward. So I can see that JJL here, Vinicius is here as well, Caparos. I don't know if it's the surname. But it's nice because there's usually people who's always on the talks,
Actives.
the actives, yeah, exactly. And the room is actually limited, so we have 50 seats, and then the YouTube is a way to more people to watch afterwards. So he said it's finished. Look at that.
Spanish captain. I don't know.
Yeah. So guys, thank you for being here, and you as well, Rames. I think the fact that I'm traveling, these actually open a lot of doors and opportunities. Like I got a different one, and then I canceled that one, and then I booked this one, so we wouldn't met, and I on the archivist field, which is the architecture visualization field, the field that we work. Photography, it's one of the fundamentals. So we have to learn the tools, right? And after that, we have to learn the fundamentals. So lighting, composition, how do you the storytelling that you can tell in an email. But I was bringing this book. I was actually showing to Rames, because here we have all these fundamentals, like for example, here we have a light. We have the light from the room, the place here, but we get different specs. For example, your face now, you have a shadow on the left hand side, and mine, if I look to the is something that applies to everything that we do, right? So if I have a flat light, I'm showing and I'm representing that in a way that will affect who is seeing that. So, and then if I want more information, if I want more volume, right? Volume, the shape, I put the light from from the side, but this is just like a hint.
Yeah, and also the surrounding lights. Like we have here lights here in the front.
Mm-hmm.
We have one little light here, and we have lights here in the back. Lights. So for creating images, that's very important to their color, depending on the color, because the light is yellow or yellowish. So, but if it would be, let's say, a green wall, we might get like this side with a green reflection. So that's important to understand to be able to create your images to make them more realistic. And that's one of the purpose of this talk, like um, to explain how light you can understand the light to use it in your work.
Mm-hmm.
So I would like to be sharing my website so that we can
Yeah,
start
sure.
talking about different examples.
I'll just share the screen. So there you go.
Do you have the website here in this one?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it's here.
Should I just click on here or you need
Yeah,
to
yeah,
switch?
yeah.
Okay. So this is my website and I'm gonna show you part of my work, but I'm gonna talk about mood is so important. It's a
Mhm.
very important element to define in the beginning, because if you haven't defined in the beginning the mood or what it's going to express, you are not going to have a clear direction to decide what is going to be the mood of the picture. So I'm going to start by talking with this image that it was part of the invitation to this talk.
Mhm.
This is an image that I shot in New York, and this was a personal project that I was doing. I was friends with a designer, and
Mhm.
he asked me to. I asked him like, "Is there another place that we could shoot?" And he said like, "Where this rooftop? Let's go up." So we went up, but when we went there, it was around noon. So the light was super hard. It was
Mhm.
very bright, and it was very hard. So I was not finding the type of lighting that I wanted, and I didn't have extra lights with me or assistance to be bouncing lights or anything. So I only had my camera, even not a flash in my camera.
Mhm.
So I wanted to create something that wouldn't look very similar to other pictures.
Day.
Yeah, so when the light comes from midday, it comes, well, especially in some countries.
You talked about this before previously. Yeah.
Yeah, countries that more in the closer to the Ecuador
See.
line, sun at noon is up.
Ah.
But look, New York still is not that north, so
Mhm.
still it was like very up the light. So and you can tell the nose is with very bright light. So I was playing with the camera angle, and what I see 60 degrees around. So and then I check on those 360 degrees around which light would I find more interesting. And when I find an angle that I find more interesting, then the second part is I ask the model to start moving in different directions. Do we have the camera of us at the same time, or is
Yeah,
green,
it's actually we when we were sharing here, we cannot see, but I mean we can always go back here.
Okay, just to know, like just to know.
Yeah.
So like coming back to
If you just yeah.
the picture,
Mhm.
uh, as I said, I didn't have reflectors or any bouncers, but in New York, the rooftop they do this impermeabilization with this silver liquid or silver.
It's kind of metallic.
Yeah, kind of like a metallic surface.
See.
So work with a light or a bouncer, and you start moving that light towards the model. But because I didn't have lights, my main light was the sun.
Mhm.
I couldn't move the sun. So what I did, I was asking the model to start moving in the rooftop. To be in that, I was able to get the light just on the profiles and some parts of the fabric,
Mhm.
and making those shiny parts to be bright.
Yes.
So
And the fact that she is black is it's
the mood, because like she's black, either you would put, I mean, there is not a right way to get more details on the face and the clouds, but this is what I didn't want to do.
Mhm.
That was too normal of a picture for me, and I was experimenting in doing something more interesting in terms of lighting and shapes.
yes.
So for a fashion brand, we started shooting around 6 in the morning. Probably this picture it was around 6:30,
Yes.
and the sun it was on the back. For this picture, I had some bouncers to reflect the sun to her, bring them or I could rent them, but sometimes I just want to get another type of feeling, which is this is another important part to explain. Different sources they bring different textures of light, and especially the flash gives a very specific texture that makes pictures look a little not natural. Sometimes it's what studio photography, and sometimes it's what you want. But in this case, the mood of the photography, it the goal was to make it to be more like a poem. So actually, this is one of the great things about this wanted. She hired me, letting me having the freedom to decide what to do, but to understanding the essence of the brand. So
Wow.
actually, part of the brief that she gave me, it was a poem, a poem of what the clothing and patterns and colors express to the brand. So with that poem, I interpreted it in a photograph, a French painter of the rocks, and the colors are very similar.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was not Photoshop, or it was
Oh, really?
not that they inspired from the rocks to do the prints of the dress. The dress it was like that because they came from paintings. What I did it was to add a story that it was all together, that it was part like she was like the clothing was part of the whole. In my opinion, would change a little bit that feel of nature.
Yes. Yes. I see.
So,
That's
but
cool.
the problem with using natural lighting and not having other type of artificial source is
Okay. Yes.
so
Because you are against the light here,
I'm
right?
I'm against the light, and in this topic we could talk. And the meter is balanced crazy the exposimeter because it doesn't read. It gets crazy because it has the sun in front. So
See.
either it's reading the sun or it's reading the person. So it's not giving you an accurate exposure. So you need to.
Just keep translate.
This one show you another image from the same shoot and kind of the same. This one. So like from this first, the difference if I would like to see darker, I use it could look darker. I use it could look very cool, but I wanted to be in. I had to have like a very right exposure on the face, so I wouldn't lose all the details because it was very easy to lose the details of the nose and the expressions, and also the clothing that it was white. So this is on the face or the texture, or where is where you want to set up your right exposure.
Yeah. One thing that I it's always about what you what's the purpose. So in this case, you are the dress is
So there are difference on the purpose of the work, which is something super important to understand. So as a photographer, in this it's part, but it's not the total purpose. The main purpose is to express what's the brand about. If it was as you shoot it in a studio with
Yeah,
a
okay.
white background to show exactly
Yeah.
what you are gonna buy. In this case, it was more the mood. So
Nice.
I was playing during the day with different type of lighting, but everything was natural atmosphere. So
It's very nice.
in this picture, I get a more flatter light. So talking about also characteristics about light, light could be very hard, very direct, or it could be very soft. And direct lights, there is no, as I always say, there is not one best better than other one. It depends on what you want to do and what you want to achieve, and that's the most important thing to understand, that depending on the purpose or the mood that you want to achieve is gonna be the type of lighting that you're gonna be selecting
Yes.
to do it. To
Yeah, I think what as you saying this the building here, this is New York, and then there's this highlight of the sun, and then saying right, but then yes,
you don't see details. This is an example because you wanted to put more emphasis on the shadows here and
yes,
the silhouette of the person. Focus more on the perspective and the lines of the different elements.
Exactly.
If you would have taken the decision exposure,
Mm-hmm.
because the light difference between the shadows and the light, they are too wide exposed to one part on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So the middle exposure it's on the floor, but everything else goes underexposed. If you could have decided to make the picture exposed on the wall,
Mm-hmm.
then you would have to this would be bright and you could see the details, but then the floor could go almost white in some parts, or most of the part
Yeah.
would go white.
And we would lose this the contrast between the
Yeah.
cast shadow here. For example, if I take this overcast image, now here we have this more diffuse light, right?
Right.
Because the clouds are diffusing the light, and for example, in this case, we have this how the light and shadow work together, and that's why I think it's so nice. Example here, this is overcast again, and
So this one is kind of everything on the same exposure.
mm-hmm.
So there's not much difference between the dark parts and the light parts,
Mm-hmm.
and you just pick what's your main subject. In this case, it's the plane. So by having the right exposure on the plane, kind of everything falls in the same exposure.
Yeah, yeah. When I'm working on this personal project, I try to play with this different time of day. For example, some perhaps is a night one where I'm only using artificial lights, right? And then walking in New York City, and then you look up and then take a picture. I love this, this freedom of me. Imagine that I have a camera in my hands and I'm walking around taking pictures, and it's that's why I see, and that's why, of course, why you
Example of the campaign and the catalog.
Mm-hmm.
It also works that same example for architecture, depending what is the purpose of the image. If you want to sell the building for an architectural brand, or that building is part of a urban landscape, that's different, right?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go through some of other images to explain. This one I shot it in New York, and this one you could tell, or like, I'm gonna ask you, how many main lights are here in this image, and which, if it's everything natural or if it's some artificial lights in this.
Perhaps the sun. It's almost like a overcast day, but not completely. But then, apart from that, there's, I don't know, the cast shadow here. There's a light coming um, from this side, like from behind the camera.
Okay, just before I answered you, now tell me, does the look of the image?
To me, it doesn't look that natural.
Okay, yeah, that's what you need to first to analyze.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it doesn't look natural because I use flash in this picture,
Oh, I see.
and it's very used in fashion to use flashes and to make the picture look not totally natural or real, because it's not the purpose. At this time, it was already clouded, so I was not finding the right sunlight for the model. It was a little bit moody, and I wanted so, but you could tell also the direction of the sun, that it was clouded, but still it was clouded here on the middle, on the top. You could see it's brighter on the windows, the reflection of the in the building.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of the general exposure. If I would be taking the picture without the flash, I would get the same exposure for everything: the window, the landscape, the building, except the front of the model, because
Yes.
if you can tell here, this is this shade, this is how all the model would be looking without the flash.
Oh yeah, very dark.
Very dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, because here in this part the flash didn't hit because the flash was coming from the top, and with her chin she blocked the light, the flash.
Uh-huh.
So like imagine if I was not using a flash, she would be almost dark or black,
Mhm.
and the clothing pitch black.
Yeah. And again, and as you and I can tell here like, uh, the the flash is the flash of the camera. It's highlighting the cloth. It's
Ye-
so cool there.
Yes, so like as a fashion photographer, this is what is kind of like my mission.
Mm.
I'm selling or the stories about using flash. Everything would be very dark. Maybe I could play with exposure,
Mhm.
and by playing with exposure, the dress be brighter. But the problem with that is that her exposed to the dress, her skin would look very very pale, and the background, the build, very white.
Mhm.
So I kind of know that from the beginning, but also I could do a test of what I could be doing,
Uh-huh.
and then I use the highlights on the camera, the warning range. I cannot get detail on the face
Yes.
to recover it because you could recover some details in Photoshop, and but if I don't have enough detail, then I would lose the details in the important
Mhm.
parts.
You can recover.
In the beginning is to get the best exposure where I can get most details in all the image, and then compensate
Right.
with the flash or with the direction of the light available. So in
No,
thi-
that's super cool.
so in this case, I have two main lights here. One is the main light for the background to the building, and one is the main light to the model and the
Mhm.
clothes. So by having a main light on in front of her, angle up above her face a little bit, I get the dress that it's leather
Yes.
that gives me the shape and the texture
Mhm.
of that dress. So this is very important to understand what's the purpose of the image,
Mhm.
to show the dress, to show the furniture, to show the building architecture. It's gonna depend on that.
Mhm. So now I think it would be a good opportunity to like to um, um, actually to me to ask you and then you show to the audience as well about that the project that you did.
Some years ago, I ran the shows, the fashion shows, but this time I was coming more on my own to do my own personal project. I asked for a letter to the magazine that I was working for, and I told them I'm coming to you to share some of those images if you give me accreditation from the magazine.
Mhm.
So we deal with that. So I got accreditation of the magazine, and I was able to get into the Sao Paulo Fashion Week. But I was doing more a personal project because to me, like doing the fashion shows, just standing there with another 20 photographers. I mean, the first time it was very cool because it was an experience, but you don't get to experiment and to create something very different of what the other 20 photographers are doing at the same time.
Yeah.
Because you get the models walking to you closer or farther, or to change the exposure,
But that's it.
like brighter or darker, but that's it.
Uh-huh.
So the models in Sao Paulo Fashion Week in less than 60 seconds. Not because my goal was to do it in less than 60 seconds, but because that was what I had. Because models are so busy in between makeup, fitting, going to the shows, that I'm busy now. And I was like, no worry, it's gonna take less than 60 seconds. And they were like, okay, less than 60 seconds. So I was looking for the best spots with the best lighting available and waiting for a model passing to that spot. And then when the model was passing to that stop, I was like, let me take a picture. Don't move, or move just like 30 centimeters to the right. I post
Look at
them in
that,
my
yeah.
Instagram. Like even the brands, they were
Uh-huh.
reposting my pictures because the clothing looks so good. I mean, takes for a campaign or for a shoot. And because I've been doing this for 25 years, I understand how it looks. And it's not possible to do it like in every place, but
Yeah.
in certain places you are able to do it with the light that is. So this other one, this model, there was a window in front of her.
Ah, that's why it's so bright.
And that's why it's so bright, and you can tell here in the eyes,
Mm-hmm.
it's a big window, but the light, it was not direct to her, the sunlight. It was like maybe an overcasted day, so the light, it was soft, but not that soft, because it was giving her some parts of her skin looking bright.
Mm-hmm.
So also with her, it was in 30 seconds.
Uh-huh.
Some of these pictures I maybe just took 3-4 shots and that's it.
Uh-huh.
And either I knew it, I had it, or she moved, or she got to go and I didn't get it.
It's like street photography.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kind of street photography, but intentional street photography to different ways, or to angle her.
Mm-hmm.
So this one, the back on her is a window to white.
Uh-huh.
And I might have also, no, I don't have a window here. You see in the eyes these little lights.
Mm-hmm.
It means that it was a hard light, a tiny light, so it was a direct light. But it was a direct light, but it maybe was bouncing in a big surface,
Yeah.
because I really like that softness that I had in that moment,
Mm-hmm.
and I was able to get this portrait, showing more of the details of the hair and their expression. So I was playing a lot in different places during the fashion show,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes I even didn't ask him to look at me. Like this model, she was just standing there, or maybe someone was doing her nails here on
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
in a nice place.
I see how like the experience shows you and teach you how to be improvising, right? Because I think we and you want to have all the type of lights to use, and then at this point, you are like more like I just have a camera, and then because your eyes so sharp and
Let me show you this, for example. I put this together because it gives you you can know how the environment was and how the lighting was.
mm-hmm.
But if I couldn't show you this, if I do it, but actually it took me less than 60 seconds because they were walking. So probably I had like 10-15 seconds the most to take this picture. So, but I want to show you here. It's the same. Probably I took this 10 seconds after that one.
Uh-huh.
But the difference is that first I was using a wide angle lens in my camera to be able to shoot the whole place. So this picture was more like for the magazine to show the catwalk, the runway show, and this one was my personal project. So this was
man.
kind of like for the client, for the purpose of the magazine, and this was mine. Actually, kind of they use both. So, but to show you what the exposure and the angle makes a whole of a difference. Look, here the exposure is not totally for her face. The exposure is for expose the face.
Yes.
It's underexposed, and then this angle, it gives just like a white ceiling that is not very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
to be able to shoot it from the front, and I switch the exposure on my camera from that of underexposure to, and then I use a telephoto to be able to blur the background.
The background.
So
I see.
I got this other one. So
You know, when you I think I love this when you just you said that, because we usually have a commercial kind of camera, light wise as well, and your ideas as well. That's exactly what you did, and you literally said that this is
it's totally another steer. This is to me like a very normal picture someone could have taken with their cell phone.
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But so I end up by having tons of beautiful portraits of the
Mm-hmm.
fashion week with beautiful models and top models
Mm-hmm.
that that no one, like a normal photographer, later to put it on my newsletter
Mm-hmm.
to show it to different editors of magazine, and I got hired for specific paid projects for the
Ah,
for
there
the
you go.
magazines, because I had in my portfolio not just pictures of models but a personal interpretation of my concepts and how I work to be not just a fashion photographer, but a photographer that could be very quick in taking decisions. And then I was hired, and
Mm-hmm.
then I was selected to shoot some of the most famous models like Coco Rocha, Petra
Yeah,
Nemkova for that project. So
that's super cool.
this is many examples of how the light could be very different. This is another example,
Mm-hmm.
but the front it was uh, underexposed. So to me, I could overexpose a little bit, and the image could be nice. But I wanted to experiment. I like to always to be changing. In this case, I used the flash to get this other exposure. Actually, this one, now that I see it again, many
Uh-huh.
years ago, you can see the image is different. Now, if I would have had the chance to have more time to play a little bit with the light, I wouldn't go for this bright light because this makes it to look too normal, and I think it does. I think it's more interesting this light,
Uh-huh.
some silhouette or some light
Mm-hmm.
in like in the nose to get some more defined silhouette in some
Mm-hmm.
parts instead of a flat light in the front.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, this was like very quick to do, and the decisions you make, they are
Uh-huh.
like very quick decisions.
From this, because of this personal project, for example, here on the camarim, these pictures, you got like hired to do a project like the one that Kokoroto you're talking about. So personal project, it's so important because you explore, you are out. If you explore and go further, because when you're working on the same commercial wise, and then you don't have the opportunity to go in a different way, and perhaps in a way that you are willing to express yourself, because as an artist, and I think you are an artist, you we have or on reference phases in life as well, right? So perhaps I'm sure at some point you more into black and white photography. So in the that's why that's why I like this, you bring this topic, because we are so related, and doing this personal project, it's something that we learn it through
I
the.
believe personal projects and paid projects or assignments for clients, you always have to have the mix. I mean,
Mm.
since you start like, if you're a student or you learn by yourself, but you are learning, you start with personal projects because in the beginning you are not hired to do something, right?
Exactly.
So you start by doing your own ideas and developing your own ideas. But then there's gonna come a moment that you get a client ask you to do something in specific. You get an assignment or you get paid to develop something, and then you're gonna be able to start learning about how to develop that specific project or assignment for a client that you're gonna be paid. That's another learning, right?
Yes.
But personal projects, I think that's the blood that we need to have as an artist always in life, because if you don't have those personal projects, then you start to getting used to one specific style, and it's not your style exactly, it's the client's style.
Ah, man, yeah.
And it has happened to me in different times in my career that I have spent a lot of time. I have spent a lot of time working for clients where I don't do much of personal project. Long time to do another personal project. I kind of struggle in my personal project because I don't find what to do exactly. So I believe it's very important. Always you you get in a better level if you always combine it with personal projects, because with personal projects you always keep experimenting, and you are not doing that for the purpose of the money or a client, so you
Mm-hmm.
have freedom to screw up, you have freedom to make mistakes. When you start doing commercial work, you kind of avoid to do mistakes.
Yeah, yeah. You don't want to be bold.
You don't want to risk too much. I mean, you
Uh,
kind of risk to a point that you need to experiment a little bit to give a result. Like, to me, it was a very important point to understand that middle term, and it didn't make sense, but it's like that. Like, I wanted to, when I was in the studio and I was shooting a campaign for a client, I wanted to get the best light in the beginning from my setup of lights.
uh-huh.
And then I was doing that, setting up. The
Wow.
client would come at 9 or 10, and they would come. And when you work with big clients are like advertising agencies, the brand manager, the account, uh, the executive, so many people say something that they can show they work there, or it was important that they were there. So when I was working on my lights for 3 hours to set up to have the most amazing light from the beginning, what it happened is when the client came, like the art director or someone would be making comments, because they have to
They
do
had
it.
to.
But the light was already great.
4 hours already setting up everything.
If I would be like saying that, like, man, I'm the photographer and the light's already great, I would have. I mean, it was great, and the light wouldn't
Mm.
be as good as it was. So what I learned to do, my trick, it was to, let's say, I of the main lights,
Wow.
that it
Okay.
would be very obvious that it was missing one light because it was part of like one main light.
Mm-hmm.
So I could talk with the client or the art director, and I would say like, what do you think about it? And they could be, oh, looks good, but maybe light was missing,
Mm-hmm.
because I could tell, and I turned it off on purpose. So I was like, yes, yes, let me move it, but it was already there. So I just turned on the light, and they were like, oh yeah, looks great. So they were very happy, because they were like, oh, I'm a genius.
Yeah, I'm participating. This is
With humans. So by talking about that is, but it's about learning that it's not just about the image that you are creating in terms of back and forth of the image. It's like, no, I don't like this. I don't like the mood. I don't like this, especially because image making is very subjective.
yeah.
So for someone, something beautiful is not the same beautiful for other one, or someone make it learn, and that's when it comes very handy to be very versatile in managing the light, because you could, if you are able to manage options, and they, most of the time clients, they are not very good in um, in reading the image.
Mm-hmm.
So they're very basic. It's like, it's dark, it's white, it's
Improve.
im-
Like improve what?
yeah. But if you are able to give them different and say like, okay, what do you think about this? This is darker, this is lighter, this is soft, so they can ask you what they want to change.
Mm-hmm.
Because from the beginning, if they don't know how to explain it, it's gonna be back and forth all the time, and you're gonna be bringing them 10 different images, and they wouldn't be happy. If you sat with them and say like, okay, this is the image, so, or too contrasty, and then you kind of teach them a language, and then they could be
Ah.
like, ah, no, yeah, 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 you're right, it's too contrasty. Okay, okay, maybe if we do this, and you kind of give them an example, and they would be, yeah. So then they would be very happy, because you listen to them, you kind of do what they ask you to do,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're not gonna have all this almost 3 months with one image delivery,
Wow.
17 different retouches, and it was because of communication
Involved in that.
involved, that everybody was putting different opinions about it. It
Mm-hmm.
was very difficult to know what they really wanted.
This is so related. Like it looks like you talk about archivists
Yeah,
because exactly like this.
I would really like uh, to invite here of the audience, if they would like to make some question or
Mm-hmm.
some comment, so that
There's one guys, if you want to just yeah, they actually can ask, and then we let them come here. But if you guys manage the client, and how do you actually you show to them that they are in control, but you actually controlling that. That's quite clever.
Yeah, and also you kind of recognize when you work with someone with the eye and when they have clear
Yeah.
the purpose. And I think that's one of the goals, to be able to start getting clients pick you to do something specific. And when that happens, it doesn't happen that situation anymore,
Mm-hmm.
because that situation happens when you are doing some work that other photographer could be doing, and it's not that special because uh, it's following a certain layout
Mm-hmm.
that you need to replicate. But the more you do your personal work and people assignments, you start working with more people that appreciate your work. And normally, that people that appreciate your work the most is people with a higher level of sensibility about developing my photography, that it kind of gives me the possibility to climb up in the steps,
Mm-hmm.
to work with more prepared artistic people, because it's amazing when you start working with that people, makeup artists, art directors, that they already have a higher level of sensibility.
Mm-hmm.
They ask you not for the basic things, because like well, if I was working with someone that I know that is very talented and has the eye, I wouldn't turn off the light because it's too obvious that it was not the right exposure. I would be saying like, it would be another conversation. It could be like, what could be the mood that you would like to achieve? Do you have some references?
Wow.
And when you work with that people, they come with references of uh, movie directors,
Mm-hmm.
some examples of painters.
Uh-huh.
It's a very different type of conversation, because it's like, no, it's like I would very bright and saturated colors as David LaChapelle, like just to have a more understanding to understand better the communication and what they are looking for, gives you more tools to develop that in a
Mm-hmm.
more specific area, not just in basic
Mm-hmm.
parts. Be more specific, and this is something that you get uh, by being able to show your work and being able to develop more
Your style, your signature.
your signature,
Wow.
right?
That's so we can get the question here, but just before that, what you're saying basically, of course, you let me know if it's that's right. But the right what I could understand is of picture photos, um, but then and then you have this type of clients that they're not they don't have that refined eyes, or it wouldn't be that interest to you, or challenge to you. But then because you develop your personal project, you start developing your personal style, and then that on your portfolio will attract those type of clients. Those thing here is do your personal project, and do this on your own way. So project, I'm not actually using reference, because I want to create the mood. I want to create the light and play with the light. So when it's a commissioned work, of course, perhaps the client has a reference, everything, and then I end up with something that is me, and then I drop that on my portfolio. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, yeah. And when you have the chance to be hired to do a project in kind of that aesthetically, it has your sign,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you put it next to another project that it was your style but with a name of a big brand or something relevant, then you get like a powerful, like a superhero power.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Wow, so cool. So we have a Kaparos was saying these three they're connected, and to walk. And then his question is to walk abroad. What would be the best way? I think he might. I think he's a CG artist
Uh-huh.
from Archviz, and his question is
Is it to work abroad or to work in
abroad.
exterior?
Yeah, is it your
No,
abroad?
but I mean to work with outside with to use natural lighting or to work
I
in
don't know.
other
I think
countries?
I think in this case is abroad.
In working in
Yeah.
other countries. Uh, what it could be um, uh, the best way to work internationally? That would
Yeah.
be the question.
The way that I see is you must have something to show, right? And they are receiving a million of contact and portfolios every
Yeah,
day.
let me give you a story of one of the pictures that I just
Mhm.
show and how I got.
Mhm.
I'm friends with the editor of the blog. So I was reading some interviews about different designers, and one of the designers was the designer of that brand.
Mhm.
And I was reading the interview and I saw the designs and I went very interested about how she did the prints because it's based on a painter. It's very interesting the story. So I got in touch with the designer through a comment that I did on the as I post a comment
Uh-huh.
on the article, and then through my friend who was the editor, I told her like, oh, I really would love to be in touch with that designer because I really wanted to express that I like her style
Mhm.
and all of that. But then in that moment, it was like something just to compliment. I was not really trying to sell anything.
Yeah, yeah.
So then I got in touch with the designer to give her some other compliments or perspective about how I see her work. So that's how I started getting in touch with her. And then we started following in Instagram. And then you start building some type of attention. It still is not friendship because it still is not like you and me that we met and we started talking right away.
Mhm.
With her, it's like a designer that I don't know, but I got in touch, and then it was a personal contact. And then from that, like exchanging moment that I was getting more attention of her. She was commenting in my pictures.
Wow.
And then that in 2019, I was here in Floripa, and I was doing scoutings for other photo shoots, and I sent her some pictures of the locations, and I was like, "Hey, Sabina, in Brazil, I found the most amazing locations. It would be amazing to do your pictures here. They would look amazing." And she was like, "Tell me more about it. Like, how is it? How would it be?" So then I started sending a proposal to her, and then
Mhm.
she said, like, create a budget to think about it, because I just finished with the line. So we agreed with the budget, and 2 months later, she came to Brazil to do the campaign.
Wow.
So
It took a wow. You like you start with a honestly compliment. You're not expecting anything, but then because you're there, and then because you made that connection after a while, you're able to. Wow, that's a
you
really
can do
nice story.
different steps. I mean, one step is like to compliment on a post on Instagram by community managers. It's not the owner designer who,
Yeah.
who does that. So you need to if you do a comment, you need one good platform to do that is LinkedIn.
Yes, LinkedIn. Yeah.
So LinkedIn, once you reach, once you know which brand you want to, or someone that you want to talk with, and then you can get directly send a message.
Yes.
So I have done that too to compliment, and I said like, this is Rames from Mexico. This is Rames. I'm a photographer from Mexico. Just wanted to say hi, and I just said, and I wanted to say that I really love your designs, because this or that, like you give them some perspective that they would appreciate.
It's
Not
not generic, not
not
random.
not random, because random is just hi. This is me. Look at me.
Exactly.
So is
Yeah.
that you can tell about their designs. It's normally they would reply saying thank you.
Mhm.
If you just get that, then you start having a conversation.
Man, that's so good.
So
And this is a really good device, and we can bring this to life, right? Because when, for example, if I, let's say we are working a project together, and we finish the project, and if I give you a compliment like, oh, Rames,
On this, it's not new because it's been already here for 15 years, Instagram or social media era, that a lot of people focus on getting a wide audience, like tons of followers, tons of likes, but at the same time, it's not personal. There are
Mhm.
not personal relations. So, like, it doesn't matter if you get 10,000 likes and you get 100K followers, you might get the likes, but if you're not getting clients, you're not getting interaction, what's the purpose about to them? So this is the opposite of trying to get likes and more views.
Mhm.
It's about personal connection.
Wow.
So instead of just following 100 brands and liking them, and like now, like you don't see really like comments, like written comments. You just see like the fire emoji, the
That's
star,
so me. That's so me. I like the rocket.
the rocket, because like so, like, if you want to get some personal interaction, if you just send them a rocket, a fire, another 1,000 people are gonna be
Yeah.
doing the same. You are not being different from the others, so you need to get out of that platform and to connect through other one. Like as I said, I connected through a blog, or I connect through LinkedIn in a personal message saying something specific about what what you like, and if you get that, you start building some relationship, and it's more about how you're able to
Mhm.
build it.
So I think I can complement that. I see these around. It's like sometimes um, people are afraid to even contact or send an email or send a portfolio, and that doesn't hurt, right?
No,
Oh, but
finding the way to do it, because as I said,
see.
if you do a direct message on Instagram and they have an account of 500,000 followers, 4 hour week by
Mm-hmm.
Tim Ferriss. And
Nice one. Yes, a
and
nice one.
and in that book there is this chapter that is called uh, I don't know if that's called, or it's part of it and I just
Yeah.
putting that name, but he said like find your Yoda,
Find you Yoda.
find your Yoda, Yoda from Star Wars, and it's about getting in touch with someone that you admire. So the goal is to reach to someone that you admire their work, their life, and you get in touch. And he said that don't be, as you said, don't be afraid in getting in touch, because sometimes the more successful people are, let's get an example of someone like in CGI, some name, like some
Mm-hmm.
big name. What would be?
Well, we have a really famous big companies called Mir.
No, but like a person.
A person. Let's say uh, a person. That's a.
Well, like it's about, if you know that person that you admire because of their work,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and it's already kind of like a rock star.
Yeah. Well, we have a guy called Under Alencar, which is quite famous on the industry.
Okay, if he's quite famous, probably he has a lot of followers.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
if you do an emoji of a rocket or a fire in a comment, he's not gonna see it. Or even if you send a direct message, probably he's not gonna see it,
Mhm.
right? So this book that I was talking about of Tim Ferriss, he's saying like go to the most direct ways you can get to, and the most direct ones are like phone calls. So at the time when I was reading that book, it was years ago, that I wanted to become the best hair photographer in Mexico. I was already in the way
Mm-hmm.
to become a good. I was already a very good hair photographer, but still was not the best. And the issue with that not being the best is that in Mexico there are not. Before me, there were not specialized photographers in hair photography.
Mm-hmm.
So the photographers that were hired in Mexico were from New York or London or
Uh-huh.
Paris, coming to Mexico to do the shoots. So I needed to become the best one in Mexico to be able to show my portfolio that I was in the same level as those photographers from Europe or New York.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to have better understanding of how to get better my portfolio. This everything that I'm teaching you is part of like the things that I wanted to learn, also
See.
how to reach to those clients. So Actually, it's a Brazilian photographer that I admire, Fernando Milani.
Fernando Milani.
He's a photographer specialized in hair, and he shoots worldwide campaigns for Pantene,
Ah, right.
L'Oreal, and he lives in New York. And I was like, I admire him. He's from Latin America.
See.
He has become an international photographer, and I want to become like him. So he would be one of the people I would like to talk with. And I did what the book said to do, like don't be afraid, like Google his studio, his number, and I got I didn't get the phone number. Uh, I think I got an email, and then I sent an email, and I just said like, "Hi, Fernando. This is Rames from Mexico. I'm a photographer for over 15 years. I think it was at that time,
Mm-hmm.
like 10 years ago. And I and the recommendation of the book is ask three questions. Gone as a photographer from Brazil. I'm from Mexico, and I would like to ask you if you would be willing to answer me these three questions, like how you got there in an international level, and two other questions. And then I got back an email from him saying like, "Oh, I'm coming now. I'm going to China, but I'll be back in New York next week. Said let's set up a phone call when I come back to New York." And I was like,
Jesus Christ.
wow. Then, like a week later, 2 weeks later, I got a call with him, and I got a call for about 1 hour. And then he was
Wow.
kind of he went into my website and he was kind of giving me feedback, and it was amazing because I was having direct feedback of a photographer that I admire,
Mm-hmm.
and understanding what to change in my portfolio, like about the industry. Another experience working with these hair product brands worldwide. So it's because even though it's not exactly the same field, but at the same time, it's an industry. And there's some interactions that they are kind of the same, working with agencies,
Absolutely.
clients, brands. It's something that is very related.
Absolutely.
Uh,
So nice.
we have to read another question.
I see. Was part of the workshop. Thank you for your kind words. Like I just want to say that this talk is very insightful and inspirational. Congrats on your work, especially love the first image, and the way that you blocked the tones were controlled. The 360 walk around the model makes so much sense, and I can relate that with Friends on Sketch workshop, where we have around the project to find the short ideas. Yeah, that's how we do.
Thank you. My pleasure.
So, Jean asks, how do you transform an abstract concept into an image that truly evokes emotion?
Oh, this is a very interesting question. This is what I was talking about when I don't know your work, but just by your questions, I could get an idea of the level of your work because you're already thinking in a different level. You are thinking about to transform an abstract concept into an image that creates an emotion. So that's the question.
Mm-hmm.
So that means that when you are thinking about that, you already have passed the basic things of how to create an image, volume, perspective, and then you want to go further to transmute the emotion. That question is very, I think, is difficult to explain project to another. So
I think somehow you in when you are working on an abstract image, um, you already so when people see that they interpret it, and it won't be you can control that, right? But it will evoke some emotion, some kind of emotion, because you firstly um, you you that's what you put there, right? Like you work in an image, and I, for example, when I work in concept, I'm going around the project, and I'm expressing myself, and that will affect people when they see that. It will cause some emotion. So it's naturally that will happen when you are creating an image, even taking picture is all related. It's especially personal project, absolutely special project. It's for you, so you you can calculate how people will react. So I think it's important because you're gonna be the one express gap that you have somehow. It's not a gap, but we are an artist, so we have ideas and we want to express that, feel with that, and that's the emotion that you expressing there. I think that's is a very complex
Yeah, it's
question.
it's a complex.
I hope like
question.
we helped you.
I would add to that, if it's an abstract concept, which means that it's because it's abstract, it can be interpreted in a different way,
See.
the way that you want to express it. And if you start asking that questions, you can have different ways to do it. Let's say there's this abstract concept, right? The concept could be written or could be an idea,
Mm-hmm.
and then you start thinking what different ways could be a way to express it. Like if there were like different ways to do it, like okay, in this case you're gonna create an image. So, but if an image it's gonna be the way to express it, you start defining, okay, how I want to express it through an image of a human, through an image of a building, through an image of abstract colors,
Mm-hmm.
shapes, and then if you start answering that question, you start getting more in a specific line, and
Yeah.
then you narrow all different positions. You start playing into that field, and you change it. And at the end, it might change, maybe not. You stay, but I think if you do that process, you kind of start getting more in a direction. Otherwise, it's too wide to express it, and that you kind of feel that is the right way to to go,
Mm-hmm.
not just doing whatever it comes to. It's more difficult that you find something more specific that you if you narrow it down to a style, or
Mhm.
not a style, but to some line, and you start working on that. I when I do photography, and this is some work that a friend doing, not commercial work as e-commerce, because that you don't get too much
Uh-huh. Freedom.
freedom, but like when you work in these personal projects like shooting models and you start playing with the clothing, like this example of this portrait or shot that I did in the rooftop in New York, I had that freedom to do it in different ways. So like when you start experimenting, you see someone used to say that you work until the elf comes out, like
The elf?
the magic elf comes there to the place,
Mhm.
because you kind of start to need walking the path, and then in a moment some magic, some spark of that magic starts to come. That spark of a magic is inspiration, or is some connection, or
Yeah,
is something
man.
you see to shape the image that you have in your head, not in your camera or
Mhm.
in the process you're doing. It's more like in the feeling of what would be that result of the image you would like to achieve.
Wow, this Surrey Sketches workshop. We have a project and we exploring that, and then we are trying things. And I always I like to. So man, I think we now like it's completely almost like 2 hours, and I would like to thank you. That's that's super cool, and thank you guys as well. And but before we finish, I would like to say that we are preparing a special workshop. Okay, so bring this idea of lighting. So we're gonna be dropping here a wait list, and then through this wait list, we're gonna contact you, and you be update. Okay, so we just have the wait list on chat, and this is gonna be very soon. So if you want to be part of that for the people here. Então, obrigado, galera. Muito obrigado a todos. Espero que vocês tenham gostado. Se tiver perguntas, Pode colocar aqui, depois eu consigo mandar pro Rames também, tá? E vamos, é isso. Gracias. Let me just